be the therapist.
Yeah.
You know, how it's like you need so many therapists. Like, what about AI on? That's where that could go. It could be great, this AI. I'm noticing it. There was like a couple of weeks, not long ago, where there was like 2 or 3 people I'd bumped into were using it in their day-to-day sort of profession and da-da-da. First one was my doctor. Went into the room. She's like, look, we are recording, through using an AI through my computer. Just sort of listens to our whole conversation and gives her the notes, and then she doesn't have to type, when you talk to your doctor and they're just typing, it's like, it's almost distracting in a way.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
That's a great implementation of it. Yeah, I saw it as well. She let me actually have a look at the end because I was quite curious about it. I was like, what's it doing? She's like, well, it listens to everything. But obviously there's a lot of dribble that's not actually related.
A dribble? What were you on there for, mate?
Sammy.
Yeah, don't care. Sorry.
So I was curious as to how that worked. I was like, you're still going to have a big transcript you got to figure out. And she's like, no, we'll have a look at this. And it took about 30 seconds. And then it organised all of the transcript. It organised itself and got rid of anything it presumed was not relevant.
Surely you couldn't get rid of that, those wee conversations. You'd have to put them in like a wee...
Oh, yeah,
like a wee folder, all the stories from her patients, all the waffle, like just a folder of waffle.
Yeah, publish a book of waffle in the doctor's office. They reckon a lot of why doctors are running late is that old people actually book all the early appointments, and when they go in, it's like a social outing, and they need the conversation, and so the good doctors are going to sit there and talk to them longer than they probably need to be in there, because it
takes them such an effort to get in there onto the seat and then sit down, and sometimes you're in and out of there in a couple of minutes.
Oh, you can be,
depending on what you're in there for, I suppose. But
you can be, but if you're old, boy, and we will get there hopefully one day. There's some old people out there that there's not that many people around they can catch up with during the day, and they probably do get a bit lonely, and especially the widowers. And that's one of those places they can book in a conversation.
Because there's always something fucking wrong with them, eh? They're like, let's go.
Shit, yeah.
Nah, it must be lonely when you get old, especially if you haven't got a lot of family around you, and those the wee things you do during the day, going to the shop and the doctor and whatnot. Yeah, a big part of their life now, I suppose, isn't it?
Probably take on a greater significance, those small outings, don't they? Like, you wouldn't be in a rush the way we are either, where you're trying to get your life built when you're young, so you're in such a rush, but that's past, so you're probably trying to enjoy everything a bit more, but it's not all there when you get older, unfortunately. I guess your body and your friends and, we've all got it ahead of us. We don't know what it looks like, but...
Well, we can put ourselves, the only thing we can do about it is put ourselves in the best fucking possible shape. That, we're still good, You see guys like that are like still super fit at like 70, 75, still doing shit like... I mean, look at Mick Jagger, for instance, like that fella. Shit, he's on some other stuff. You'd probably get some very, very, very good doctors in that helping him out along the way. But, I mean, it's possible to still be in really good nick in 70s, 80s. I mean, by then you're probably going to be fucking exhausted and just...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can see you still being in good nick, boy, with a wee durry hanging out your mouth, and if they open you up, it'll look like the inside of the Kingston Flyer. Right?
I'll still be on the tracks, mate. Don't worry about me. We're all gonna die.
I'm not.
No, I'm not.
I'm not. No, fuck that. I'm not doing that. But yeah, the AI thing is super interesting, and it's the ChatGPT has really become quite a tool in my...
Yeah, you use it a lot.
I use it a lot.
Hey.
Yeah. Because of the conversational nature of it, you can be so specific with what you're trying to find out about in a way that Google never allowed for. You'd have to bounce around different websites, reading different things, and kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whereas if you got a very specific question, you might not get... You'll get pointed in the right direction anyway, if not getting a sufficient answer for what you need for that given moment.
And it's just, you got to put just a little more time in. You got to have a conversation with it rather than just, I mean, a lot of the times I'll just find myself like quickly, I'll just type it into Google and da-da-da. But I suppose you can use that for ChatGPT too. But does it come up with like the images and website links and stuff like that? Or is it's more of a...
No, I don't think so.
It's more of a chat. It's called ChatGPT. So it's just a chat, like a messenger kind of with an AI, with the AI.
I mean, more than anything, I've enjoyed just exploring what it can do. You know, I don't know. I'm quite curious about its potential, as I'm sure a lot of people are, and testing it in different ways.
What's one of the coolest things that you kind of got from it, or a bit of information or something that like startled you, that you were like, fuck, it can do that? Holy shit, how did it, like, is there like something comes to mind? Like,
I remember being quite flummoxed when I gave it an idea for a song, and it wrote like this poem. And it was quite something.
You've
like
put that in your wee book now. That's your wee fucking poem.
I checked the usage rights. It's mine now, boy. It's mine. I was trying to think what else. I mean, I've tried it with a few things as a creative tool, and yeah. I mean, to be fair, like I was going to say, a lot of it's not great, but some of the shit I write down when I'm trying to get my way somewhere is bad as well. Like sometimes it is a bit of a journey to find your way to what you want. But what the chatbot can be is a bit of a bounce rather than just swirling around in your own head, and it can provide a few road signs to kind of get you where you want to go a bit quicker sometimes.
It's just like having a chat to a super intelligent, non-emotional person.
Yeah. There's a lot of people use it for advice around the basics of starting businesses, shit like that. It's got all of that information. It can lay it out really nice. You could give it a very specific business you're doing, and it can probably get you a pretty good scratch business plan to build off. I think you can get a lot of really good first draft stuff out of it.
Yeah. I suppose if you're going into the unknown, you're like, shit, right, today I'm going to start a business today. I'm thinking about it for ages. You could type in like, look, what's the first 3 things I should do this week?
Yeah.
Who should I contact? You know, who do I contact first?
Yep.
Accountant, da-da-da, do I open up banking? You know, it can point you, you're right, it can point you in the right direction of where to start and get going, which, I mean, there's nothing like that really has been out there. You'd have to search in Google, and then you're relying on like somebody's idea of something coming up, which is also good, but you're sifting through stuff. You're trying to find the...
And as far as I'm aware, I'm not sure how it's been trained, but I think it's consumed all of that stuff. It's been trained on the web.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's taken everyone's, and it's like, I have read 500,000 business plans.
What if it comes out and like after it's been through the whole web and just got, oh my god, these guys are fucked. What the hell's going on here? And then it just blows up. It's just like it just couldn't handle it. All the information just twists it into this real fucking weird-minded.
Sad news today, the chatbot GPT has taken its own life after seeing the true depravity of the species Homo sapiens. Fuck. It must have...
Surely it's here to help. It can't bail on us, eh?
Please, we need you. No, it's quite something thinking about where we're going. That the AI explosion, and it feels like a public explosion this year, chatbot GPT, and a lot of the image generators as well have been something crazy. You know, I have heard before that technology has these kind of plateaus and then goes up, and you get these explosive surges, and the smartphone was probably a surge, the internet was probably a surge, and we were in a wee plateau where we were getting new phones that were kind of just slightly... They're like those FIFA games where they update the players and stuff. and
then do you reckon we're at the start of another surge? Like we're almost there.
I don't know when the... Yeah.
Would you reckon it's already started? It's hard to gauge.
I'm a moron from Invercargill. I don't know what's happening.
I'm also a moron from Invercargill.
Not that Invercargill's a moronic place, but just that we're about as far away from where this stuff's happening as you could be, apart from Antarctica, perhaps. But
and we get it all kind of years later, eh? Like we're always a few years later down here.
We are. I don't know. I don't know if anyone really has a strong idea, because a lot of the development of the stuff seems to be emergent in the sense that it evolves, and then even the people developing it kind of aren't sure where they'll be drawn with what it's doing.
It's just so unknown.
It is.
That's the scary thing, I reckon.
Yeah.
Is old Musk, is he still like kind of terrified of it? You know, he was always like, this is dangerous. This is...
I don't know.
The way that guy talks is funny.
There's definitely a lot of people concerned about it, and then there's a lot of people really optimistic about it. The common ground seems to be that it could bring great good and great harm, like a lot of stuff. And yeah, hopefully our politicians and governments can lead us through this.
Hopefully, mate. I don't know. I don't know, eh? There's a lot of skepticism out there about this new government. They haven't had any time to sort of show, but I mean, it's like they get in and then they restart again. Like it's like the last 4 years, Labour government in, they start all their things and do that, and then the next party comes in to govern for the next 4 years, and then they kind of stop all that shit and they start their own shit. Like imagine the wastage of spending just with that changeover, which goes the whole 4 years. So there's just... That's what fucking gets me, eh? I'm like, fuck. Can't you just keep working on a system that works?
Yeah. You get that they're coming from different perspectives on things, and they represent different voter bases. I don't actually know, but my impression of the glory days of politics was that you're still trying to be civil and work together. You can never please everyone. Yes, there's always going to be someone who gains more than someone else and someone who loses with different policies. But as you say, it feels like there's this automatic, everything you guys do makes no sense, and so we're here to get it back on track. And then
that also gets me, eh? Like we've been working hard to get New Zealand back on track again, and it's like, I don't know about that back on track shit, eh? Watching the video of him, he's sort of listing off the things he's going to do, you know, and you know, they're in there and they're doing this and this.
He's going to take massive action.
He's taking massive action. And then he gets to the end, and then we're going to get rid of gang patches, you know, getting rid of gang patches. We're going to get them out of our community. We don't need those patches intimidating our communities. I was just like, mate, you can't just be doing that shit, can you? I mean...
That's a classic optical political...
Just like, get rid of the signs, gang signs. That'll stop all the gang violence.
It looks like you're doing something. Does he really believe that that's going to actually prevent anything? Like,
what's that based off? You know, you could just base that shit off some history, or look to other countries, see what they've done with them, and like, has it actually worked anywhere?
They don't have time to do any research, boys. They're too busy campaigning.
Neither do I, but I'm sort of like, is that a good idea? I don't know if it is or not. I'm not sure, but I've got a feeling that it's not.
It's a very complicated thing. Why do people join gangs?
Why is the gang population? Why is it so strong?
Yeah,
you know?
Most problems require longer term solutions than 4 years, which inevitably requires both parties working together to affect change.
4 years isn't enough. You guys you can't be bickering. There's no time for fucking around.
There's no time for fucking around. Like, you got to find your common ground, you know? It's like the aim of the game is to find the problem, not to find the common ground. You can't tell me that there's no point of agreement between these two parties. It's fucking horseshit. You know, there's ice in there, mate. I've just topped them up with ice in there. The worst part of all is that when they behave like that, it teaches a good chunk of the country that's how they need to behave, and we get more and more divided, I think.
Yeah, I never thought of that, actually, yeah.
There are political loyalists out there, as we know, that will be like, I'm fucking National or Labour to the death. And when your leaders up there don't concede any points to the other side, you're not going to do it.
No. It's like you've been getting attacked by the other side your whole time, and now it's like your party's in charge. So it's like, and then they say something that you might not totally agree with, but you're like, I'm not going to bag them. We're in charge now, you know. Like,
you like it down there, do you? I'm probably at a point where I would have voted for Chatbot if he ran for Prime Minister of New Zealand this year. I think he's ready already.
I reckon. Do you reckon that's going to... I reckon that'll happen. That'll come in, and surely there's going to be like a neutral governance, like a non-corrupt fucking governance.
I mean, I guess that's where the optimists come from, is that this thing could be neutral and so intelligent and so comprehensive in a way that we because of the human emotion element of politics and all of the human bullshittery,
we probably wouldn't get it.
We can't overcome it. And, you look at that, you look on Parliament TV and we all know it looks a bit like a schoolyard. It doesn't look like people figuring out how to do what's best for the country, really.
Especially when they're there and they're like yelling, I don't watch Parliament TV because like you get some kid in there, he's fucking stands up and he's yelling, and then as the murmur kind of gets louder out there, they get louder, and then they just right. I've done it. I'm sick of this. I mean, shouting it doesn't work at your kids. It doesn't work at those kids in there either.
No,
eh? Like,
you're really going to change minds that way.
Don't go in there and bicker and fuck around and waste our precious fucking money. For God's sake.
There's probably some good people in there who are trying.
No doubt, man.
No
100%.
doubt.
I believe that.
There will be, but it's theatre. There's a theatre to it. It's like, it's hard to describe, but you know that people aren't really being transparent or being honest because there's a strategic element to it all. And so you never quite trust anything that's coming out of their mouths. That's unfortunate we've got to that point. But yeah, if you had AI up there, imagine if you have this super intelligent AI who on a certain issue, they feed all the data into it. They give it everything going, these people want this and they're concerned about this and these people are concerned about this. This AI thinks for about 30 seconds and spits out a solution. And everyone's like, that's...
Do you reckon all the politicians are like, fuck, AI is coming for our jobs? AI is going to expose the shit.
That's why they're putting all this shit through, mate, to get all this money and get out of there.
Yeah, surely,
I mean, yeah, you're right. I think we have no idea how this AI revolution's going to change the world, and a lot of the stuff that feels like problems at the moment, they might just be swept aside in this surge of change. It's hard to know what's actually coming
and what's going to be important.
Yeah,
when the smart actually comes to the surface.
Yeah.
Go, hey, look, this is what's going on. You should probably work on this first.
Yeah.
Because that's about to blow, or this, or da. It'll be, yeah. I don't know if we'd be ready for it, but it needs to come. We need something.
It does.
Especially America too, like every country, they need it. Yeah. Russia and China, they won't let it in for sure, but...
Oh, shit.
Oh, little old New Zealand though, we're here, we're right out of the foreign line of anything, kind of, We're so too small to be like anyone picking on us or anything.
Yeah.
As long as we shut our fucking mouths.
I've sometimes thought that the only way we'd get in trouble was if one of the big boys,
one of the big boys sort of like blow us up as a warning shot, like fucking, you don't think we're serious? Oh, here's one of your wee colonies, that's where I was thinking the same thing too. To be like, oh fuck, Russia just popped off New Zealand, like
they're fucking serious,
just with a wee piss away, like we'll take that.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't done anything wrong. It would just be like, just like an ant, and we got stood on by one of the big boys.
Yeah.
That's probably our only...
Oh, Putin would be getting a hell of a haunting if that happened.
I tell you what, I'd haunt him. But we're pretty safe over here. We're pretty fucking lucky, man, where we are. Like,
yeah, we are.
We're small enough, and there's some great people throughout New Zealand, and I've got hope that if changes need to be made in certain places, and we all know they do, we're small enough to be able to make change, and for that change to actually really gain traction quickly, and we can, I think we're that small that we could change pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Certain things if we need to. But you look at big places, and to change a whole fucking big place, you got to get everyone.
Imagine looking at the America problem from inside America. Again, I think a lot of this stuff does come back to community. It starts small. It starts with individual minds, and it starts with communities. And
hey, they're doing some good stuff down at there. I read a wee article the other day at Grace Street there. The chick who did the pantry stuff. She was like,
yeah. Let's ask Savvy.
Hello.
Logan.
How's it going?
How are you, mate? How was the jazz tonight?
I feel like I've been to one cultural event and I've made out I'm a changed man, but I really need to further indulge.
Hypocrisy. Tell us about that Grace Street project, mate.
Right, yeah. Well, well, obviously there's the pantry there with the Self-Reliance project, and right beside it there's an old chapel building. It becomes Save Mart of all things
Oh, yep.
after that, if you know where I'm talking there. And
So it's right beside the pantry.
yes,
Right.
yeah. And I think the group that were involved in the pantry sort of viewed that building as another possible option, but it was all run down anyway. And they've brought the building, and they want to develop it into a sort of a community hub where there's different sort of community activities and whatnot. But they've got to come up with like $4 million or over 4 million.
They've had to come up with 4 mil to do the project. You mean like?
Yeah, to get it done. So they've done pretty well. They got to 2.8 million. So
Shit.
they're I think it's about 1.6 million that they need to get the whole project finished. I think the whole thing is there's not really a huge amount of those sort of community spaces down South City.
No, I saw it. I saw your article. I thought that's a bloody great idea, and yeah, a real part of the community. You can sort of go in there and there's the network. You know, people are networking together. Yeah. If you need help with something, it's like they can just sort of cruise over, and I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
The website looks great too, and it's got that nice virtual walkthrough. And
yeah, no, I think it's a great concept, and yeah, they've done pretty well so far. So the next thing will be trying to get that money over the line, but they've got that far that it would be a shame that.
I mean, yeah, that'll normally come to the party. Something will come to the party there.
And to be fair, they really up until sort of now they haven't really gone on sort of like a public fundraising drive as such, or whatever you'd like to call it. They've just sort of gone to your potential, behind the scenes potential funders. So they've still probably got.
Yeah.
So who's been the big name funders so far?
The latest one, I believe there's a couple of anonymous funders. One at about 500,000 that is probably the biggest, I think. TY have come up with a new community fund. They've got about $2 million, and they've put 450,000 towards it.
They're good chaps.
I think this SIT has put a decent amount in it because they're going to use it for potential courses, or not obviously full-time courses, but some sort of.
Oh yeah.
And
cool.
And the ILT is about 320,000 and.
320. That's an odd figure, eh? We'll put 320 in for that.
I don't know how they come up with that. Yeah.
Why not 315 or like 310?
Or 325.
Or 350.
Yeah,
that's cool. No, that's great, man. It's good to see things like that happening around, and the fact that they sort of kept it quiet, did the groundwork.
Yeah, and the beauty is it's just people. I mean, I think like that whole South Alive and South City thing. There's just a lot of volunteer people that have just rolled their sleeve up and got some stuff done down there, rather than just walking around with hoping someone else will do something.
Yeah,
we need more of that, really, don't we?
Yes.
Community banding, rallying together, and going and making stuff happen from the people for the people, I guess.
Oh yeah, very good. I think South City is a bit of a blueprint with that, what they've done in the last sort of probably 10 years.
Hard out.
Well, the pantry's great. I mean, I use the pantry fairly regularly, and it's a great wee space. And I actually didn't know who was the driving force behind it, really. I mean, you hear South Alive, but there hasn't really been any big egos stepping out and going, I'm responsible for this, have they? It's kind of been quite a nice...
Yeah, there was a cool. I did a story a while back. They must conduct sort of surveys about the pride you've got in your suburb or whatever. And I'm going to say like 10 years ago, like it was real low, the pride of their suburb in South Invercargill. And then they did the survey again, like just last year or maybe even earlier this year. It just changed. It's changed dramatically. It was like 90% of respondents were like, we're proud of our. So they've done well.
That's cool, eh? Good shit.
What exact figure will the Tribune be giving to the project?
my, the budget. I'll have to check the budget. I could organise a coin trail or something like that.
Organise the old coin trail.
Yeah. I'll organise I probably won't. I probably can't even do that, actually. I was going to say I'll organise a sausage sizzle, but then I've got to buy the sausages, don't I?
Woodlands might give you a few if you play next year, mate.
One, I don't think they want my rugby abilities, and I don't think I'd ever pull on a Woodlands.
You're quite a loyal star, man, aren't you, Savvy?
Yeah, I can't hide it. Over the years I've tried to sort of pretend I'm not, because it becomes a bit awkward when you're writing about rugby. I've sort of just had to run with it now, because I think, yeah.
How did that? Was that just in the family? You're just born into it, the old school sort of?
Real. Much like you and Marist, I suppose. It was always we lived about a block away from Star, and so when my brother first started playing, so it was like 40 years ago or something, we joined the club, and the family's been involved ever since. And I don't know, I'm sure you listeners don't really need to be hearing the story, but anyway, my mother's still on the committee there, so yeah, real family club.
Oh, you ripper.
That's good stuff.
I enjoyed the camaraderie of rugby. I didn't actually enjoy rugby that much.
Mm. Yeah, I haven't reflected that much on rugby. There was a lot that was a real pain in the arse. It was like having to go to trainings Tuesday, Thursday. You couldn't do anything Fridays. Like, it was quite consuming. I'd almost be nervous on a Friday night, and then Saturday mornings I'd be struggling to have my breakfast. It was like, then by the time it's Sunday, you're sore and you're getting ready, and it's training Tuesday. Fuck. Yeah. It was quite.
That's grueling, eh?
It is grueling, but yeah, there's a lot of great things about it.
Then you have a couple of cans, after you finish the game on a Saturday afternoon with the boys.
Slow down your recovery,
Slow down your recovery to no end. You never fully recover.
My sort of main sport was cricket, and obviously everyone gave me stick. They said, "Why would you spend your whole day playing cricket? Rugby guys, you spend your whole day playing cricket." And I said, "Well, I've played rugby, and it pretty much takes up the whole day anyway."
Yeah, it does.
And
half of the night if you bloody win.
Yeah. There's an expectation in rugby that everyone has to go back into the club rooms for speeches and whatnot. So there's, so it's basically the whole day.
Do they still do that tradition? Are they still doing that? Everyone, like the clubs, going back to the club rooms, and are they still keeping that?
I think so. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if it's as well supported as previously, but yeah.
I did hear whispers, like a couple of years ago, and it wasn't that sort of thing after the game, where you'd make sure everyone went back to the other club, and you had the speeches and did we skull off? You'd have a drink,
the player of the day,
and sort of talk amongst yourselves. All that stuff sort of feathered out when the drink driving really came home, and sort of started patrolling.
We had an interesting kind of phase where the academy was getting serious down here, a bit slower than elsewhere in New Zealand, but it was getting itself sorted, and so the young players coming through were being taught the perils of alcohol very early, and recovery and all of that. And there was a bit of a tension between the older players and the young guys who were, they were like, we're not drinking after these games. We're having protein shakes, and we're going to the gym tomorrow. And it was just kind of you could tell there was a bit of,
what the fuck you boys trying to do here?
Yeah, there was a bit of unrest among the club. Like, even the old boys were sort of there going, what are those young guys doing?
Yeah, it's probably the changing of eras, isn't it?
It was. With it came a lot of tension again between players looking after themselves for their careers versus just putting it all on the line for the clubs, which is what it was. It was a true bleed for the jersey kind of thing that was starting to fade away. But
yeah, and then comes the whole peer pressure thing of some young guy wanting to give it his best shot, so you lay off the drink for a while, and then you get the rest of the team. So
Yeah,
hang
I mean, you
on.
could see both sides for sure. It was just a weird, as you say, it was two eras butting up against each other where you had young guys like, I can make a career out of this. And the old guys going, that's not what it's about. It's about coming here and giving up your life for this club. for this club. But some great nights in the club rooms.
Yeah, no, I some fond memories in sport.
Oh, this has been happening on your end of the things there, Savvy. Any articles you'd sort of written lately that have sort of caught your interest a bit more than it should have, or any goss on your end, mate?
No, it seems like everyone's just winding down for the year, but
Yeah.
Invercargill starts to wind down about November 5th day.
it does feel a wee bit like that, to be fair.
We do, but we do.
The old museum debate has raised its head again. A couple of people suggested now that the H&J Smith's site's come up that actually that's where the museum should be, but I think the feeling around the council table is they're too far down the track. They've made the decision, and people just want them to get on with building the museum at the current site.
At the original site, and they want to build there again, where the big pyramid is.
Yeah, so effectively demolish the pyramid building that's there, so that'll happen first, and then build a new museum on site.
I think it does make sense to kind of have the museum in there by Queen's Park. It's pretty cool, you know. It's a pretty cool spot to have it.
You should check out. Have you seen the visuals of the proposed new museum?
I did see them a while ago, and this is new ones. I'm pretty sure I have seen them. Pretty fancy, huh?
Pretty fancy.
So whatever they do, make it like a little bit cool.
Yeah, well, they've got a great opportunity to modernise it too, in terms of how it. Well, you know.
I think it does raise the head as what is the future of a museum rather than just a static, boring display. And
got to look to the future here, don't we?
Yeah, and really tie it in. Really, I think a bit of thought needs to go into this thing. I don't think just whack it up and just hope everything's going to pop in.
Well, we do like to talk figures, so
pop together.
They're chucking around 80 million or something. So you'd like to make sure that
What?
do it properly.
Do we have a siren sound effect?
80 mil.
80 mil.
We do like.
You could get 6 little half roads for that, 6 little small roads.
I was wondering how long it was going to take for the bus lane come up.
Hey, you brought it up, mate.
Yeah. No update on the bus lane?
No, I'm on the bus lane.
You sort of expected almost an April Fool's sort of.
We got you. We got you.
Just see how far they can take it.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the museum, Savvy? Like, you just think, is your gut just keep going?
I think probably keep going.
Yeah.
But I can understand why people we've now got this massive site in the middle of Invercargill that's prime opportunity for something. I can see why people are now going, oh, maybe that would be quite good.
Well, it's a look though, but like, the amount of money that they would spend on that place.
Oh, I think you'd just bowl it. I mean, I think that if you're building a museum anyway,
you'd be bowling
or whatever, yeah. But
you want your little town square with your beanbag and your live music there, don't you, chap?
I do, yeah. No.
Nothing's getting in the way.
I do. I've already got visions of.
I do like that idea. I think we keep pushing that idea.
We keep pushing that in.
Bring the band rotunda back to put it in the old H&J building, yeah.
What? Move the band rotunda.
Well, the band rotunda come from Wachner originally.
Oh, did it?
Pretty sure it did.
That's right. We learned that the other day, didn't we?
The one in Queen's Park?
Yeah, it came from Wachner Place originally.
Who told us that?
Was it you, Savvy? No, it was Brad. Brad McKenzie, actually. Be rad. Shout Brad
out.
There.
He's our listener, isn't he?
He's a listener, yeah.
He's the listener.
He's the only one, I think. He said, yeah, the Van Rotunda came from Wachner and they moved it to Queen's Park when God knows who made that decision.
Dax told us there was a whole lot of tunnels under Queen's Park too. We need to follow that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest a story to unearth, isn't it?
Who do we talk? Yeah, we'll figure that out. Who do we talk to about that one? We'll hunt them down.
Probably the moles. Dazzle, sir.
News from the underground.
Queen's Park's quite a dangerous place to be at the moment, with trees falling all over the place, isn't it?
Have there been a few falling?
Yeah, it sounds like it, yeah.
A few widowmakers out there.
Oh, what was that?
A few widowmakers out there. They call them the old... What do they call them? The old tree branches out there?
Widowmakers, is that what
Yeah,
they
that's
call
what they used to call them. I think they still do, actually.
That's the first time I've heard that.
Old mate out there playing golf. Fucking boom.
Would it be your advice that we should wear helmets in the park? No, Savvy, or...
Wow. So, I understand they were supposed to be doing some tree felling yesterday or whatever. And then the wind came up, so they couldn't. And ironically, it was because they're obviously wary about some dangerous trees. Because I don't know if you heard about that or seen it, but there was a...
It'll be those tunnels. I fucking bet you are. These roots will be fucking going down and then, oh shit, there's nothing there.
There was a massive tree just fall over the duck pond.
A while, yeah, I remember that one.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't really think of anything of it, but if someone's even unkill you, they're toast.
But I mean, you got to think. It was windy as shit, you know? You're taking your kids to go and feed the ducks, are you?
Did it fall during the day or at night?
Yeah, it might have been later on, so that's probably why. Yeah. But, I mean, the tree didn't decide it was going to fall at night, does it? Like,
nah.
The winds are normally more gusty at night.
What if there's a bit of a sort of nuisance guy living in the tunnels with a big saw or anything?
Oh, come off it, Wax.
Might be pranking everyone.
Sorry, Sam. What,
What's that? I lost
No, we didn't say anything, mate. Wax was about to say something.
Who's the oldest brass band in the Southern Hemisphere, mate?
Geez, you do read the Tribune.
We're doing our due diligence here.
You guys enjoy your history too. I quite enjoy that sort of the delving into the past. But 157 years is not a bad effort.
Ah, that's great.
Invercargill Garrison Band.
I kind of like the original name. They should just still be the Invercargill Garrison Band.
Yeah, what are they? They've got a new name.
Didn't need to commercialise it as such, did
What
they?
have they done now? What are they called now?
The Escott Park Hotel of Invercargill Brass Band.
Nah, well... should upgrade to the Embers Bar Ascot Park Hotel.
Yeah.
Fucking...
While understanding that that's where we are, I hate it. I hate when teams are announced with the name of a business and then the team.
Especially a musical band that's 150-something years old.
Yeah, they don't...
Getting called the Ascot. The Ascot Park isn't even that old, is it? Well, I don't know. I could be out of line there. But...
The world has come quite commercialised, but I mean, at the end of the day, for these outfits to survive, they sort of have to.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say sell their soul, but it's not. You know what I mean?
They've sold their name. They've definitely still got their soul. My God, they're 150 years old. But
it's amazing that Rugby Park's still just called Rugby Park because the place needs some money. So you think the first thing you'd do is sell off the naming rights to it. But,
what date was it that you were switching over to the Invercargill Licensing Trust Southland Tribune?
Yeah.
This will be our last. This will be our last podcast together, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I go with this. I don't know how a naming rights sponsor of the Tribune would go. I don't think that would quite work. What about if you got a naming rights sponsor for the podcast?
Oh well, we'd have to think about it at the time, I suppose.
How dare you?
I think Brad's our only listener actually by this point.
Tell us about the pipe band, mate. The brass band, sorry. So, 100 and...
Well, you actually are interested in it, or?
We are.
I didn't actually know. I'll be honest with you. I didn't really know a lot about this band until I got handed this number to ring this person, and they started explaining it, and I thought this is pretty impressive. I can't think of too many older clubs or organisations or.
No, that's pretty old.
What I found interesting is there's this guy Alex Lithgow was in the band real early days, and he composed the Invercargill March, and as it turns out, the Invercargill March has gone global and is played like when the military and the US and whatnot do their parades around the place. The Invercargill March gets played.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah, there's now a statue of Alex Lithgow outside the Civic Theatre.
Fucking, he's an Invercargill folk.
Yeah. So Alex Lithgow was an Invercargill lad. He moved to, he composed this Invercargill March. He ended up moving to Australia, I think. But once the story got explained to me, I went and jumped in and listened into the old YouTube of the Invercargill March, and it does ring a bell. Oh, are you there?
Can you hear that?
Oh, I can hear you, but I'm struggling with fizz.
Oh, we're playing the Invercargill March, but you can't hear that?
Oh, no, I can't. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, have you heard of the Invercargill?
No, I put it on. I wondered if that would work. I'm playing you out of the phone, and I just put it through the phone as well.
Right, I see.
That's all right. I don't know my brass band music enough to distinguish them that easily, but it sounds vaguely familiar. It sounds like I've heard it at a bit of pomp and ceremony, sort of.
To be fair, the song was composed in 1901, so there's probably
Holy
a
cow.
fair excuse of not knowing it.
That's cool. Phenomenal, actually. That band is still going. Not with the original members but it's sort of carried on.
That is super cool. That even though their name's a little bit shitter now, that's awesome that they've kept that going, and it can't be easy. Can't be easy.
Well, it only takes 1 or 2 years where people just sort of
fall off the wagon, eh?
just don't have the numbers, and then it's gone, isn't it? So for that 157 years,
it's another one of those things. We're a small town, and if that dies, then we're like, oh, we don't know anyone here that can play a big tuba. Like that stuff can just
nobody get the lungs for that.
Yeah, it'll be the sort of thing when it just goes forever for good.
I know.
Yeah.
Actually, we should give a shout out to Hayden and Tony Budd. They're closing down at Christmas. The only music store in town.
Yeah.
True. Yes.
That's a sad little.
Sad to hear that, eh?
It was. It's a big loss for the city. It's hard to see us getting another music store back.
Yeah, it's just tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, so I think they're doing a bit of a closing down sale. If anyone's looking to get any stocking fillers, music instrument wise.
Yeah. Savvy, I could see you on a tin whistle, like a wee Irish one.
20% off.
Musically challenged, actually, but
everything's a challenge, mate.
But you guys will know better than anyone that there's something. I mean, obviously in the online world, you can get stuff in that, but there's something about going in and to stores and
face to face with locally owned stores. It is sad each one of them that shuts around town because
they're buying online a lot more, aren't they?
Well, it sort of funnels into where we began this conversation, which is it is another wee blow to community.
Well, one music store in Invercargill can't keep the doors open, like, fuck, there's a lot of people in this town.
It just needs to come back where everyone is encouraged to actually buy local, eh?
Yeah.
100%.
Buy local.
We'll push a few local, bit more local stuff next year, eh?
Yeah.
No, I like it. I like the things that are happening around Invercargill. There's some good positive movements.
Well, we'll leave the listeners with the Invercargill March to end today, shall we?
I think so.
Hey, well,
a bit of history for the chaps and gals out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone have a safe and wonderful Christmas and break, including you, Savvy.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
You have a few more stories to write before you knock off to you, or you sort
of. What do you call it? It's summer. We're heading into summer hours, whatever that means. So.
Oh yeah. Hey, I see it.
We're quieting down a little. Yeah.
Nah, you've earned it, mate. Big first year.
Yeah, mate. Good stuff. Good mahi.
But I've enjoyed chatting you guys, lads.
Yeah, it's been nice, mate. We're learning a lot through you. Oh, we might get a wee beer in next week. We'll see how we go.
Oh yeah. That sounds good.
Fizz has got a party next week, actually.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know if you want to be. don't know if you want to be brought out to casting out to the thousands of listeners.
Brad's already coming.